Welcome! In this video I will document my process of how I made this Trossingen Lyre replica out of oak and maple wood. I used only very basic tools for it, whatever I had at hand, and the fanciest tool was probably a cordless jigsaw. I did not have a solid workbench to clamp anything down, so that did cause some major issues, as you will see towards the end of this video. With that, let's get started. I started out with a slab of oak wood. Now, oak is not the best wood for instrument making, but it's all I could find, and it does look nice. It's a very pretty wood. As you can see, I cut out a paper template and taped it to the wood, which was surprisingly difficult because you can't really align such thin strips of paper very well. The plans of the lyre I drew up myself based on a couple different ones I found online. Here you can see I started drilling the starting holes very carefully, trying to get them as straight as possible, and soon I started cutting along the template. Now this is very slow going, so I'm gonna fast forward a bit from now on. And after that first successful cut, I drilled the rest of the holes and cut out the instrument. that's that. Altogether, the rough cutting and drilling took me less than 40 minutes. Now, in the absence of a drill press or CNC, I had to chisel out the entire body by hand. A lyre has a body which is hollowed from a single piece of wood, so there is no separate back panel. This means that I have to be really careful here not to go too deep and through the back of the wood. As you can see, setting up my tripod on the same terrace that I hammered on was not a good idea. So I'll fast forward again to make this shaking less disturbing. Now, without a proper workbench to clamp my piece of wood down, my only option was to chisel this outside on the terrace. I used a carpet in between to protect the wood of the terrace and the wood of the lyre, and I held it with my foot to reduce the amount it moves under the chisel. But this is far from a perfect solution. Especially having the soft carpet underneath the thing I'm hammering on is not a good idea, as you'll see in a few minutes. I'm also chiseling very aggressively here soon, which does get the job done faster, but it also puts much more stress on the wood. Anyway, this takes a while, so I'll see you when things start to go wrong. And what is that? A crack appears, going right through the entire length of the body. Soon you'll see it a bit better. Now here in between the arms there was a very rough spot left over from the sewing, so in my mind I had to chisel that away so that I can glue everything properly. But of course, chiseling a cracked piece of wood is never a good idea. I tried adding clamps here, but nope. Yeah, that opened the crack right up. Don't chisel cracked wood. And yeah, now you can see the crack properly. Goes through the entire length of the body. Luckily the headstock didn't crack or the whole thing would have just split into two pieces. I got the strongest epoxy I could find in a local hardware store and glued it overnight. This glue was strong enough that I could keep chiseling without worrying that the crack might open up again, and I think the glue is probably stronger now than the wood around it. I'm pretty sure that the crack appeared because I was hammering the wood down onto a soft surface, allowing it to flex a bit. So I found a large block of pine, to which I clamped the wood from now on. This provided a solid surface to back the thin wood and also made the entire thing move less under the chisel. So I really should have done this from the very beginning. And I think this is actually a relatively decent way to chisel wood if you don't have a solid workbench. Now I could continue chiseling, but I went much more carefully, so that I didn't open the crack back up again. It worked. Here in the base of the instrument, and also where the arms join, there's a bit of a slope on the original instrument. It's probably done to keep it as strong as possible while also maximizing the free area of the soundboard. But for me it also made the chiseling a lot easier at the base there, because I couldn't really get in with my straight chisel, so making straight walls would have been almost impossible with the two chisels I have. And then I started chiseling the arms as well. On the Trossingen Lyre, even the arms are mostly hollow. There's even sound holes up there. And yeah, it's a lot more work from here, so I'll see you in a bit. And with that, the rough hollowing is finished, and the next part will continue with sanding and making the lid. Here you can see what the chisel looked like after chewing through half a slab of oak. Of course I resharpened it since then, so now it looks almost new again. So, I'll see you in a week or two. There should be 1 or 2 more parts. Let's see how the editing goes. Until then, like and subscribe.